Abdali Grammar School. Social Studies. Lesson Citizenship. Chapter number 8, People and Work. Lecture number 5. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Here I am with the new chapter, that is Citizenship, and the topic which we are going to discuss is people and work. Let's talk about population first. Do you know what is population? Group of individual or number of individual that live in particular area at the same time is called population. Population include the group of individual that can interbreed with each other. This is a complete definition of population. My dear students, now can any one of you tell me what is population? Yes, population is a group of individual or a number of individual that live in particular area at the same time. These individuals can interbreed with each other. Repeat once again. Population is a group of individual or number of individual that live in particular area at the same time. Interesting. Our next slide is about population of Pakistan. Pakistan is our dear homeland, and dear students, there are over 207 million people live in our country. Yes, we have a big population. There are over 207 million people live in our country. So it's very easy to answer my question now. My question is, how many people live in our country? Or what is the population of Pakistan? What is the population of Pakistan? What will be your answer? Yes, there are over 207 million people live in Pakistan. This video clip is showing the population live in Pakistan. Pakistan is an overpopulated country. Our next slide is about census. Dear students, do you know what is census? In Urdu, we use a word mardam shumari. That is actually census. We can find out about people living in a country by conducting a census. But how can you explain the word census? Census means actually the counting of people living in any specific country. The number of people live in a country is counted in census. I hope now I am successful to clarify the concept of census in your mind. Now, which one of you can tell me what is census? Yes, you tell me. Census is actually the counting of people. This is so easy. Census is actually the counting of people. The number of people living in a country can be counted through a census. Census is carried out every 10 years. Yes, we can find out about the people living in a country by conducting a census. Usually, a census is carried out every 10 years. After every 10 years, the country conduct a census. In a census, the number of people living in a country is counted. My dear students, it's your turn. How oftenly census is conducted? How oftenly census is conducted? Yes, census is carried out every 10 years. Census is carried out every 10 years. Last census held in Pakistan in the year 2017. Information about people. Dear students, do you know why census is conducted? Census is conducted to find out more about the people. Information about people is collected in census. Dear students, now tell me why census is conducted. Why census is conducted? Census is conducted to find out more about the people. During census, information about people is collected. Let's move toward next slide. Details about population. During census, we get to know how many people live in a place, their ages, their religions, their occupations, and other details about the population. I hope now you can understand that what type of information is collected in census. And this is my question. What type of information is collected in census? During census, we get to know how many people live in a place, their religions, ages, occupations, and other details about the population. So, census is very necessary. During census, detail about population is collected about their ages, professions, religions, and other details. Let's move toward the next slide, that is data or statistic. First of all, you have to know what is data actually. In simple word, you can say data is a collection of figures and fact. Or you can say information collected in census is called data. So these are two different definitions of data. Now, can any one of you explain both of these definitions? Can you explain what is data or statistic? Yes, data is a collection of fact and figure. Or information collected in census is called data or statistic. With the help of data or statistic, we can find out that how large families are, what languages people can speak, and whether people can read and write. Data or statistic provide information about how large families are, how many people can read and write, and what languages they can speak. My dear students, now tell me what type of information data provide us. What type of information data provide us? With the help of data, we can find out how large families are, how many people can read and write, and what languages people can speak. Repeat once again. Data tell us how large families are, how many people can read or write, and what languages people can speak. Data helps government. All this information or data helps the government to decide many things. All the information helps the government to decide many things. So the data that is collected through census help the government to decide many things. This data is very useful for the government. It helps the government to decide many things. Dear students, now it's your turn. Tell me how data help government. How data helps government. All the information help the government to decide many things. Let me tell you how data helps the government to decide many things with one of example. A census may tell us that there are millions of babies in a country. With this information, The government knows that more school will be needed in a few years' time. So this is one of the example of a data that if the government know or have some information about the people, this information will help the government to decide many things. Now can you explain the same example as I have told you, that how data help the government? Yes, a census may tell us that there are millions of babies in our country. With this information, the government knows that more school will be needed in a few years' time. So conducting a census is very necessary for every country in the world. Dear students, let's move toward the next slide. And our next slide is about overpopulation. Let me tell you first what is overpopulation. When a country is populated with very large number of people and it does not have the resources to support a satisfactory quality of life, we say it is overpopulated. I repeat once again, when a country is populated with the large numbers of individuals and does not have the resources to support a satisfactory quality of life, we say it is overpopulated. We have some natural resources like water, air, sunlight, wind, and coal. These are some natural resources. But if these resources are depleted and number of individuals has been increased so much, so we said that this condition is overpopulated. My dear students, now which one of you can tell me what is the meaning of term overpopulated? Or can you explain the term overpopulated? Yes, when a country is populated with large number of individuals and do not have the resources to support a satisfactory quality of life, we say it is overpopulated. Overpopulation is nowadays a big problem. It could be a major cause of many social problems as well. Unemployment, pollution, lack of job, social injustice, poverty, traffic jam, and overcrowding. These are the major social problems. Overpopulation is also one of the cause of lack of resources. Dear students, now it's your turn. Can you remind me what social problems are caused by overpopulation? What social problems are caused by overpopulation? Come on, hurry up. Yes, lack of job, social injustice, poverty, overcrowding, traffic jam, unemployment, pollution, and lack of resources are the major social problems caused due to overpopulation. Let's move toward the next slide, and this slide is about Pakistan. Pakistan is overpopulated country. Yes, this is true. Pakistan is overpopulated country. Pakistani population is getting bigger and bigger day by day. And we also does not have the resources to support a satisfactory quality of life. So Pakistan is also an overpopulated country. Now this time my question is quite simple. Dear students, do you think that Pakistan is an overpopulated country? Do you think Pakistan is an overpopulated country? Yes, Pakistan is overpopulated country. Pakistan is overpopulated country. Let's move toward next slide, that is about urban population. Urban population is the number of people that is living in a region surrounded by a city. In simple word, you can say that urban population mostly consists of population living in cities. So first of all, understand the meaning of urban population. Urban population means the population living in the city. Dear students, tell me, what is urban population? What is urban population? The population living in cities is called urban population. Rural population. Rural population means the population lives in countryside or in open area. Rural areas are mostly open areas of land which has only few homes. So the population that lives in a countryside or an open area is called rural population. Now, my dear students, it's your turn. Can you explain the term rural population? Can you explain the term rural population? Yes, rural population means the population lives in countryside or an open area. Our next slide is about pie graph. Pie graph is a type of circular graph. Each slice of pie graph is related to the size of that category in the group as a whole. This is a pie graph of Pakistani population, which indicate that 64% of a population live in rural areas. That red part indicates the 36% of population that is living in urban areas. Students, can you tell me how much population of Pakistan live in rural and urban areas? Yes, 36% of Pakistani population live in urban areas, while 64% Pakistani population found in rural areas. Pie chart is a circular graph. And the pie chart in this slide actually show you the distribution of Pakistani population, 36% urban population and 64% rural population. This is all about today's video. I hope this video will be quite informational and beneficial for you to understand your lesson in better mean. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.